What's up, y'all? How's it going? Hope y'all having a good one. Guess what, everybody? I made it all the way through today without talking about the abject corruption of the Biden administration. Never mind. I guess I just screwed that up. You ever wonder how people used to argue through text message before the invention of cell phones? You know, you would pen a letter to somebody. Imagine arguing with somebody that way. That would be quite a pain in the ass, if I must say. I mean, think about it. You write some stuff out, then you wait for a response. 2 weeks later, it'd be just crazy, but apparently that's what we got going on with Congress and Fulton County's district attorney, Fani Willis. I don't know if y'all have heard about the news about Jim Jordan sent a letter to Fani Willis expressing concerns about her persecution. I'm going to call it a persecution, though the official term would be prosecution of Donald Trump, but a persecution of Donald Trump and the other co-defendants, expressing his concerns with all this because of, honestly, what looks like some corrupt BS going on. I mean, there's charges in there for free speech stuff. There's one charge where, I forget her name, but one of Trump's lawyers is being charged as a co-conspirator just for being Trump's lawyer. Yeah, just for being a lawyer. So you can't even be the president at the time. You can't even be the president's lawyer. Oh, no, that's a RICO charge, a criminal enterprise charge. What? This lady's crazy. But anyway, we got some news here. Let me give some context right quick. So Jim Jordan sends a letter expressing concerns to Fani Willis. And Fani Willis responds probably as you would think she would, saying, "Stay the fuck out of my business." Pretty much. Well, Jim Jordan sent another letter to her, and we got that in the news today. Jim Jordan fires back at Fani Willis's hostile response to House probe. House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan on Wednesday fired back at Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis for her hostile response to his request to turn over documents related to her prosecution of former President Trump. In a letter dated Wednesday, Jordan said that Willis's response to his request only reinforces the committee's concerns that your prosecutorial conduct is geared more toward advancing a political cause and your own notoriety than toward promoting the fair and just administration of the law. And I would have to agree. I went and read Jim Jordan's letter to Fani Willis, and as you would expect from the Judiciary Committee's chairman, it was very professional and his concerns seemed very genuine. But her response was pretty much, "Oh, no, you don't." I was like, what? I mean, she was really, really snarky with her response in that letter. I was like, wow. Holy crap. I didn't know he sent another letter until now. But that's just crazy. Check this out. Congress in general and this committee in particular have a strong legislative interest in ensuring that popularly elected local prosecutors do not misuse their law enforcement authority to target federal officials for political reasons, he continued. We can only conclude from your hostile response to the committee's oversight that you are actively and aggressively engaging in such a scheme. Holy shit, saying basically, bitch, you better get your mind right. I would have to agree with Jim Jordan. I know it looks like I'm pulling sides and I'm being biased. Of course. I gotta be honest, man. When after January 6th, I wasn't a big fan of Trump. Running for re-election, that is. I was like, you know, I like the guy. I like his policies. He was a good president, best president of my lifetime. but there's too many people that don't like him. We need to calm the country down. We need to come back together, and I don't think Donald Trump can do that. And I was just thinking that, let's get Trump out of the picture. We'll get somebody else in there, and we'll get this thing rolling again, and get some decorum back into American politics. So, I was like, no, let's leave Trump alone. But since they started doing all these prosecutions of Donald Trump, it's been one thing after another, after another, after another, and now, I don't know if you've heard, but the New York Letitia James, the Attorney General, I believe, has filed a case, and the judge has summarily judged to dissolve the Trump organization. How can they just summarily do that? Yeah, just totally just destroyed his business. Just boom, just with a gavel, boom. They both filed, whatever they had to file. The judge looked at the arguments and said, nope, fuck that. Trump organization, you're gone. How can they just do that? A $1 billion business, real estate business, just gone. So this is just getting totally crazy. The left is getting completely out of hand. So now I'm back on Trump's side. I'm right behind him. Let's get this guy in there and do his bull in a china shop thing and let him clean house, because that's what we need to do. We need to clean house. We need to get this corruption out of there, because this corruption is insane. They're going to start coming after regular folks. It's just crazy where this goes. And if you don't know, look into your history. If you know your history well, you would be very scared right now. I can assure you of that. It's not looking good for our country. Something needs to happen. This needs to stop so we can continue with being the greatest nation on earth. Let's continue, though. Jordan has sent letters to each of the prosecutorial entities investigating Trump, and in his one to Willis in late August, just hours before Trump surrendered to the Fulton County Jail, he asked her to turn over all records related to her work on the 2020 election interference case. He also asked if she had communicated with Special Counsel Jack Smith, who has also brought charges against Trump over his efforts to remain in power after losing the 2020 election. Now, I gotta stop the hill right there. His efforts to remain in power? You say that like he was being subversive or something with trying to remain in power, like he was trying to become an emperor or a dictator or something. No, everything he did, his efforts were all legal. I just got to throw that in there. They were all legal efforts to point out the fraud that happened in 2020. His words, not mine. I don't know if there was any fraud. You can almost guarantee there was some. Was there enough? I don't know. But it's almost guaranteed there was some. That's every election, though. But legally, genuine efforts that are done legally, there's nothing wrong with that, is what I'm getting at. There's not a damn thing wrong with that. There's challenges to every single election. It happens every single time, like I said. I just wanted to throw that out there to combat some of the biased news that we have going on over at the Hill. Anyway, let's keep going. Willis responded to Jordan's request in a scathing letter on September 7th, attacking his basic understanding of the law, its practice, and the ethical obligations of attorney generals and the prosecutors specifically. Your attempt to invoke congressional authority to intrude upon and interfere with an active criminal case in Georgia is flagrantly at odds with the Constitution, Willis wrote. There is absolutely no support for Congress purporting to second-guess or somehow supervise an ongoing Georgia criminal investigation and prosecution. That violation of Georgia's sovereignty is offensive and will not stand. Now hold it right there just a minute, Miss Ma'am. I will have you know that Congress and the Judicial Committee, specifically, is put in place to oversee the government. That's why Congress exists. That's their whole reason for being, to make sure that people like you, Miss Fani Willis, do not get out of hand and start doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. That's their whole reason for existence. So what is she talking about there? Now, you may say that sure, Congress specifically should only be oversighting, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but their oversight should only be for federal departments, right? Like the Department of Justice, things like that. However, these places are all closely related. So I believe, personally, you want to go there, you want to put it on the states. Georgia's Congress should be looking into this a little bit further. Now, I don't know how Georgia's their state representatives work. I don't know if they have committees like this. Louisiana does. I'm sure Georgia does, but however, don't think it's outside of their scope of oversight to oversee local prosecutors. She said since Jordan was so taken with concerns related to her county, he should investigate the numerous threats she has faced since bringing the Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act case against Trump and 18 co-defendants. Willis told Jordan he was misinformed about the details of the indictment and encouraged him to buy a copy of RICO State by State in order to obtain a better understanding of the law. She also told Jordan that her response was merely voluntary since settled constitutional law clearly permits me to ignore your unjustified and illegal intrusion. Wow. In his letter Wednesday, Jordan took issue with many of her arguments and specifically argued against her concerns that his oversight of her investigation into his ally, Trump, was a violation of federalism principles. He argued that the Constitution provides the right to constitutional oversight of investigations even at the state level, like I was saying. The assertion that a law enforcement entity may prevent Congress from conducting oversight related to an ongoing investigation rests on no constitutional privilege or case law authority, but rather on opinions issued by the Justice Department, he wrote. There is ample legal and historical precedent contradicting this position. That is, congressional committees conducting oversight of matters that are the subject of ongoing investigations. He's correct. Jordan reiterated the committee's request for documents and asked that her office meet it no later than October 11th. I'm sorry for screwing that up, but as you can see right here, that's what it says. It must be a typo. He also said, as an accommodation to you, the committee would prioritize documents that showed any correspondence between her office and the Department of Justice. Wow. So, a bit of a legal spat going back and forth there over letters. Imagine arguing with somebody over a letter like that, man. I couldn't imagine doing it. That would be crazy. I hate arguing with people over text message. Arguing over text messages is infuriating for me. If it gets to a point where I start getting aggravated, I will stop and call that person. Hey, look. Blah, blah, blah. Hey. I hate arguing over text message, and I couldn't imagine arguing with somebody over a letter. But look, I understand both sides of this. I think states should have a lot of sovereignty from federal government. But when it comes to stuff like this, we can't have rogue prosecutors going around prosecuting people all willy-nilly. We just can't have that. This country won't work like that. These people seem to be trying to start some sort of civil war. They're trying to get a reaction from the right, a violent reaction, so they can justify doing something. That's what it seems to be because of all this they're doing to Donald Trump. They're not just doing it to Donald Trump, though. There's instance after instance of like in New York, people simply protesting these illegal immigrants that have flooded in there into their neighborhoods and their homes, simply protesting. The protesters got arrested. Okay, you have illegal immigrants that are being protected by police officers who are arresting citizens for legally protected under the Constitution protests. It's just getting crazy out there, folks. I would suggest stay out of trouble. Stay away from this stuff. Let's fight everything that we can fight through legal matters. Let's not get crazy and get violent. That's what they want, but we can't do that. Like Trump said, we are the party of law and order, although I don't know what he's talking about because I'm not a Republican technically, although I seem to be on their side right now, sure, because like I said before, the Republicans seem to be the only party right now that is using logic with their arguments. The left and the Democrats are simply insane. And that's all I have for this one, y'all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, please, if you don't mind. Hit the subscribe if you're not. And be positive. Peace.